we're going to spend a lot of time between now and the beginning of next week on the lineup, on what they do with lines, and the Matthew Knies situation. You guys were talking about it in the postgame. You and Pooley both suggested you'd have him in game one, and I'm not there because I don't know who he takes out. That's still hasn't been determined. Who are you taking out for a guy that's played 2 games in the NHL?
Well, and
who is that guy?
Yeah. You weigh in first because it's your what you guys talked about, right?
Well, Hayes, it depends how much stones you have as a coach, and you have to look at players like Aston Reese and Kerfoot, and it's like, do they do a job on the penalty kill that's so valuable that you have to keep them in the lineup? It's a serious question for the coach because maybe the answer is yes, and Knies won't be in that situation. But what were we looking for in the last couple of years in the playoffs? We do talk about the big guns. It's all on them. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you need a depth guy to make a play, and I just believe that he could do that. So I don't know if that's an Aston Reese. Does he have more finish and skill around the net? Probably does at his age right now. Probably does. Aston Reese is a 10-goal scorer. So what this guy is, I don't know. I just, by watching him, and I'm not going to get stupid here and have a Joe from the Bridge take and say that he should be anointed this or that. I just think the kid, with his body type and the way he approaches the forecheck, he could make a positive impact. So if you want to watch a guy go out there and go up and down the ring, up and down the wing, and the coach say, oh, yeah, he's reliable, he's safe, I trust it, go ahead and do that. But you saw last night the kid made a play.
He made a play.
I think it's I think it could be valuable. And I'm not jumping to conclusions here. And there might be a time where it fades off because he's having difficulty. And me and Jamie talked today about it. In the forecheck, he gets on it, does positive things. It's getting up to the forecheck that he has to work on and sharpen up, or the coach is not going to be able to depend on him. Pucks inside the blue line, pucks in the neutral zone, getting them out, getting them in. Those are things a winger's details have to be in check as a young guy for the coach to say you're going to go back out there on a regular basis.
Yeah, I think what you're getting at, and I don't think anybody would disagree, the upside for Knies is potentially there. Like we see it. Like I think a lot of people see it. So that's what you're going, okay, if you find a spot for him in the lineup, the upside is there. And what we were talking about, and I on the phone earlier, I just think his NHL timing has to come. He's accustomed. This kid's been playing, last week the guy was playing college hockey. It's a lot different. He was a bull in a china shop in college hockey because he could, outmuscle, outskate a lot of players at that level. That's not the case at the NHL. So your NHL timing, it takes you a little bit to settle in and go, okay, I've got less time here, a little more time there. You can't just will that on somebody. My biggest concern is, you only have one more game of NHL timing to get before the big dance, right? So I think it's a little premature to stuff him in there, to be honest. But you can see the upside. And again, it comes back to, do you trust Aston Reese? Do you trust Kerfoot? Do you trust who else would you?
And you're asking, what are you trusting them for? Yes.
Correct.
Are you trusting? Are you going into a game 7 saying Aston Reese has to score for you? If you do, you're dead before you even start.
Right.
But that's not what you're asking them to do. You're asking them, like Luke Shen, play 10 minutes, move up and down the ice, play hard, make the other team hate you. Effectively. That's kind of what you're looking for. And that's what I'm saying. I would lean towards Knies being a jolt if you need it. Game 2, Game 3, Game 4, as opposed to start with him. Because for me, it's Aston Reese or Lafferty, basically, or the guys that might come out. I know people hate on Kerfoot. Sheldon Keefe doesn't seem to.
He's a Swiss Army knife, man.
Kerfoot's not
Swiss
coming
Army
out.
Knife.
He's not coming out. Camp isn't coming out. Achari's not coming out.
But a Swiss Army knife for what?
Well,
what a Swiss.
We
got a break. We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it when we get it.
He's not coming out, though. I mean, they're not. I'd be shocked if they took Kerfoot out.